This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Pentagon says about 140 U.S. service members have been wounded since the start of the war in Iran. Von Cockayne reports the latest casualty number marks the first time since the early days of the war the Pentagon has released a comprehensive accounting of the number of Americans wounded. 7 service members have been killed, most from an Iranian drone attack on a U.S. base in Kuwait. A Pentagon spokesperson said most of the 140 injuries were minor, and 108 service members had already returned to duty. 8 suffered severe injuries. Defense officials said the U.S. had hit more than 5,000 targets in the country since the start of the operation and made significant progress in reducing the number of daily missile and drone attacks coming out of Iran. After President Biden's political collapse 20 months ago and the demoralizing losses that followed, the Democratic Party is wrestling with thorny generational questions this campaign season. Seth MacLachlan reports many voters are looking past familiar names and are increasingly gravitating toward a new generation of leaders, even if they're not entirely sure what lies ahead. The age question is shaping Democratic primaries nationwide, including in Tennessee, Massachusetts, and Maine, where a 41-year-old Graham Plattner, a first-time candidate, is challenging 78-year-old Governor Janet Mills in the June 9th primary for the chance to face 73-year-old Republican Senator Susan Collins in November. Complaints from frustrated customers have prompted e-commerce and financial technology companies to quietly rehire some content writers, software engineers, and customer service workers that they had replaced with AI bots. Sean Salai reports brands such as IBM, Salesforce, Google, and Meta have added undisclosed numbers of workers in redefined roles since late last year to help steer their generative AI services. Job listings for marketers, copywriters, content moderators, and human resources administrators also have shown a partial revival as employers restaff some previously eliminated roles. Business technology advisory firm Gartner projects that half of all companies that cut jobs for AI-related reasons will rehire people for similar roles by next year. Chinese military warplane flights around Taiwan have declined sharply. Bill Gertz reports Taiwan military authorities reported no jet or drone incursions have been recorded in 9 of the last 10 days. The flights were part of what U.S. military intelligence officials say is a campaign of pressure on Taiwan, which China views as a breakaway province. The Chinese jets and drones often crossed the dividing line down the center of the 100-mile-wide Taiwan Strait. And finally, Senate Republicans are backing President Trump's argument that the Constitution doesn't and shouldn't provide birthright citizenship. Stephen Dinan reports Republicans argue the idea of automatic citizenship is relatively new and represents a departure from the country's original understanding of it. They cite the 14th Amendment, ratified after the Civil War, to guarantee formerly enslaved people full civic rights. That amendment says citizenship is guaranteed for all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That jurisdiction language has become the legal battleground. In less than a month, the Supreme Court is slated to hear President Trump's appeal of lower court rulings blocking his executive order attempting to limit automatic citizenship. Trump's executive order directs government offices to decline to recognize the citizenship of children that are born to illegal immigrants and temporary visitors. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. The Washington Times. I'm George Gerbo.